That's nothing but a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. I heard my pop's voice so strongly because I've been dealing with Ziggy. If you know who Ziggy is, he's this little muppet of a dog. He's so cute, just cuddly. He's amazing. And we've had him for over a year, and he's been peeing on the floor. He's been running away, when he's off the leash, he just runs away. It doesn't listen. He's been giving me so much grief. And I've been looking at like the pee on the floor in the morning or, doing it multiple times. And I just want to take the dog and I want to choke the dog. And then I hear my pops' voice. It's nothing but a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. I didn't want to hear that voice because that made me have to think about where my pops was coming from and say that maybe it was that my dog Ziggy wasn't being walked enough. Maybe it's the fact that the fun furry fiesta that we have at 4 o'clock, that's a tongue twister in itself. But every day at 4 o'clock, all the dogs come out, you take them off the leashes, they run around. And so people in the neighborhood complained, that they couldn't, that the dogs were off the leashes, and maybe it's because their dogs were mean or whatever it was, but people complained, and then we weren't able to do that anymore. So I started to look at all the reasons why my dog was acting the way that it was acting. But this is the tough thing, because when I hear my pops, like early on in my life, he was dad, and dad would have reacted to the type of situations that Ziggy is doing right now. Dad would have reacted by grabbing the dog, choking the dog, throwing it outside, leaving it on the side of the road, whatever it was. But Pops had wisdom. Pops had settled in. Pops had a relationship with the Lord. And then there was this guy that he became later on in life called Campa. And Campa would never, ever focus on a symptom. He would always look at the root. If my kids were acting up, he would be like, oh, well, maybe they're feeling a different way. And I was like, where was that guy when I was growing up? I got dad. I got the guy who reacted to the symptom. Well, later on in my life, when he became Pops, I had a man who added wisdom, and then my kids and my nieces and nephews got to experience the ultimate, and the ultimate was Campa, because he was never looking at the symptom. He was always looking at the root. And I was wondering how God was going to be able to take Ziggy peeing on the floor and turn it into some sort of lesson. But the tough part is I've wanted to react to the symptoms, and especially during the holidays right now and during these times, you probably have a person or a situation that you want to react to. I wouldn't say listen to me. I would say listen to my pops and hear his words that's nothing more than a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. And in Proverbs 25, it invites us to take a second, breathe, and focus on the root, because that's where all the wisdom resides. So why don't we get this party started?
Yeah. And this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small grooves into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We begun surfing waves too low, made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene, Olay scene. Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights.
I want you to give a big, huge shout out to that new song, the new intro for the podcast. It's amazing. So much fun. Helped to be able to write it, and it's just been amazing. So it's going to be coming out on Spotify soon. We'll release the whole album, which will be great. I'm excited about that. And this one was tough. I mean, if you could, I don't know if you could feel it. I could feel it in my chest as I was talking about it this morning. I was talking about, like, as I'm talking just a second ago about Ziggy and the challenges that we're going through. I want you to know that every single one of you most likely is frustrated with a person or frustrated with a situation or something that's going on in your life right now. But most of the time, if we take a second, we breathe, and we realize that those are just the symptoms. Let's get to the root of it. Let's get to the root of those challenges. And that's what God calls us to do. And the root of all those challenges is going to be wisdom, spending time with him. It's always the same answer. It'll come in different packages, but I want to encourage you today, because as we go into the holidays, you're going to have interactions with people. You're going to have certain situations. And what I find is when there's immense blessing, then something's going to come in and try and rob your joy. And this has been happening. There's been so many great things happening in my life. There's been so many great things happening. I just got back from BITAC, conference. It was amazing. Been having some great conversations with some phenomenal people. And you know what's been happening is little bits of things trying to rob the joy. Don't let it rob the joy. Take a breath. Set back for a second. Take a second and just focus on the root. What is the root? Because that's where all the wisdom resides. Well, in Proverbs 25, it was power-packed, and it was a punch in the face for me. So it was like, again, take that second and breathe. Because most of the time, the thing that they say it all the time as far as if you react to situations, you destroy things. If you respond, which means that you take a breath, you take some time, you add wisdom to it, you add knowledge to it, understanding, insight, discretion, discernment, discipline, strength, then you have the tendency to respond. And a response is so much greater for both parties. A reaction has the tendency to harm both parties. And it's tough to hear. It was tough to hear this morning because, again, I just hear my pops' words. It's nothing more than a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. And if you're working in an organization, you're leading any people, anything like that, most of the time, the reactions that they have or the challenges, the thing that makes you mad or things that makes you frustrated is simply just a symptom. Get to the root. Well, let's get to the root right now is in Proverbs 25, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. So when we focus on the Lord, things become simple. I was talking to my buddy Craig today, and I was telling him he was asking for focus. He was saying that he really wanted to focus in because he's this guy is a lightning rod. And when you unleash him on something, he goes full-fledged at it. And what I told him today is I said, I want to speak some life to you. I want to speak some life because most likely there's been people that have experienced that lightning rod that you are, and they've tried to calm it down or say that you just need to focus on just one thing. Well, sometimes people get afraid. They see a superpower and they get afraid. And I was saying that that's a gift that you have, Craig, although if you take a circle and you put it in the middle of the paper and you put a circle down towards the bottom, you draw one line from the bottom circle to the center circle. That's it. And then you draw an infinite amount of lines from the center circle up and you add circles onto all of those. This is the way that God wants us to be. He wants us to focus on him, and then he will complete all of the infinity that's above that middle circle. But if we try and circumvent him and go to all the rest of the stuff, that's where we get in challenges. And that's what I was telling him this morning. I want to speak some life to you because that thing that you have is a superpower. It should not be put under a barrel. That light should not be put under a barrel. It should be shown for everyone to be able to see, although there are times where people want to pop it down a little bit. The reason why is because we weren't focused on God first and allowing him to power all of it. So when we focus on the Lord, things become very simple because you just have to focus on one thing and then he'll bring all the things. And when we focus on God and spend time with him, he'll bring wisdom, and that begins the wisdom cycle, right? So the wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge, that comes from the fear of God, and then that'll bring in knowledge, then that'll bring in understanding and insight and discretion. Discernment, discipline, strength. It'll lead you right back to spending time with God because that's where you got the wisdom from in the first place. So in verse 4 and 5 of Proverbs 25, intense heat will purify if you don't concern yourself with the symptoms. Listen to that. Intense heat. Like when you take silver. They take silver, and to purify it, they got to heat it up to a molten state. What happens is all the impurities rise to the top. It's called dross. They scrape off the dross. They make sterling silver. That's the process. That process is indicative of what we go through in life. God brings intense heat into our lives to be able to purify us, not to harm us. But if we focus on the symptoms, oh, wow, it's heating up. Oh, wow, I'm uncomfortable. Oh, wow, I'm going through all this stuff. We focus on the symptoms, then that heat can actually destroy us because it first destroys our attitude and then everything else falls from that point. But intense heat will purify if you don't concern yourself with the symptoms and you focus on the root and the reason why you're going through the intense heat. And It's to purify you because he wants to make a better vessel. So in verse 6 through 10, stay humbled or get humbled quick, fast, and in a hurry. I've watched God do this with me. I heard someone say early on that, if you get on your knees and pray, and you do it voluntarily, it won't happen mandatorily. And if you could stay in that place, you could stay humble. It doesn't mean that it's false humility. Oh, I'm not good. I'm not. No, it's knowing that you're great, like knowing that you can do whatever it is that you need to do. Although you don't always have to say it. You can know that in your heart and you can stay in it, but stay humble or get humbled quick, fast, and in a hurry. And God doesn't play with this. He'll humble you as quickly as possible. If you look in Proverbs 2, in the book of Proverbs, it's broken down into 3 sections of, it's verse 1 through 10 is all the niceties and features and benefits. Or from 11 to 20 is talking about in the event that you don't choose wisdom, these are things that happen. And where we're at now from 21 to 30, where Proverbs 25, that's where things start to get real. That's where he starts to not pull any punches and say, look, you're going down a road that doesn't need to happen. And when you do, there's going to be bad things that happen. And so this one was good because it's stay humble or get humbled, quick, fast, and in a hurry. In verse, 11 and 12, stay patient, look for the root. If you stay patient, though, probably one of the greatest stories from my daughter is she came to me, she was in 3rd grade, and she's like, Daddy, this girl was being really mean to me. And at first I was like, well, then you just need to ball up your fist and plant it in her mouth, and then that way she won't do that anymore. But I just listened, right? I wanted to say that to her, but then I just listened. And then she's like, she was so mean to me a couple days ago and throughout the last couple days, but I'm so glad that I didn't react. And I was like, well, why is that, honey? And she said, because I just found out today, after 3 days of her being mean to me, that her parents are getting a divorce. And that's the reason why she's been mean to me. And she looked at me and she said, I couldn't imagine having to go through you and Mom breaking up. And that would make me sad too. So I understand why this little girl is sad. And I was like, wow, that is some wisdom, right? She stayed patient and she looked for the root of the challenge. Now, she's a better person than me because I would have reacted. I would have reacted as opposed to responding. My daughter responded. McKenna, my hat's off to you. I love you. I'm proud of you. And, I'm glad that you did that and not me because I probably would have reacted different. And most of you out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've reacted to something in the last day or two or within the last week, whether it be at work or with a relationship or anything like that, I want you to send me a comment. I want you to send me a comment. I won't share it. I'll share it if you want me to, but I want to hear it. Put it in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know that challenge that you went through and you reacted to, how did it work out? Most of the time, I would say 100% of the time, reactions tend not to work out. They don't have positive results. So in verse 13 through 15, speaking life slows the game down. This was the thing that with my son, he plays flag football and, he plays quarterback. When he gets in, it's wild because he slows the game down. Like people are coming at him fast, but he stays slow. He's got a few movements. And when he makes those movements, makes a little juke or a little spin or whatever it is, it's almost as if the game slows down and then he finds the receiver and then he hits the receiver. It's pretty simple. When you slow the game down, it means that you've mastered the game. And what God is saying is when you speak life, meaning that you use someone's name and something specific that they did to inspire you, you slow the game down. Because speaking life into people and places and things, when you do that, you slow the game down and it becomes so simple. Then the game starts coming to you. And all the greats I find that do this. I mean, Jordan, the greatest of all time, Steph Curry. It's almost as if they slow the game down. If you want this game slowed down, just speak life to people. In verse 16 through 23, be content with God's blessing right now. Let nothing rob your joy and be good to people. Be content with God's blessing right now. The comparison thing is challenging. Focusing on the future, like what am I going to get next? That can be challenging. Let nothing rob your joy. When God starts to bless you, the enemy's going to come in and try and rob your joy. During these holidays, there's so many great things. You're going to spend time with family. You're going to spend time doing these things. It's so amazing. Revel in that. But don't let anything rob your joy, and just be on alert, because every single time that there is massive blessing in your life, There's going to be little flies and gnats that start to come around and start to, bother you. And take a breath and listen to my pops. That's nothing more than a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. And the root of it is that there's a blessing. Verse 24 and 25 is godly gain is invaluable. Bring good news to people. Bring good news to people all the time. There's a question that I ask when someone calls me. They'll call me and I'll say, what's the good news? And they're like, well, and they think of good news. Bring good news to people. Bring good news to places. I tell you, I didn't want to bring good news to Ziggy this morning. I wanted to bring the news that I was going to take him to the woodshed or take him down the freeway and just drop him off and let him run free and pee wherever he wants to. But we have to bring good news to people. I failed at this a lot, and just during these holidays, bring good news to people. And good news is mainly about speaking life to them, telling them things that they inspired about them that inspire you. That's what's going to light people on fire. In verse 26, fresh and salt water cannot come from the same source. And this was a hard thing because I was sitting, spending time with the Lord this morning, and I'm reading the Word, and I'm just spending time with Him. It's amazing. And then I'm cursing my dog, and like out the other side of my mouth. And God is saying, like, the two can't coexist. I don't like when I'm held accountable. I need to go home and love on Ziggy a little bit, but I tell you, sometimes I just want to choke his little butt. In verse 27, trust God in all things, and He will expose the roots. Trusting God is one of the toughest things that you'll ever do because it requires you to let go of control. Let go of control and to say relinquish and hold yourself back from you reacting and just say, God, it's in your power. This is probably one of the toughest things that you'll ever do. Although it's the most rewarding. I'm learning that as we go. In verse 28, as we finish up, trusting God takes self-control. For you to trust God and let Him run with the mufflers off, you've got to actually control yourself. And controlling your emotions, controlling your reactions, all those things, which I didn't do this morning. I tell you, I flew off the handle. Although nothing good came of it. Nothing. I already felt not great. So trusting God takes self-control. You see, not reacting to a symptom takes a miracle, and miracles require faith. And that is why God calls us to faith in Him, because where you are going, you're going to need all the faith you can get. I want to encourage all of you because there's going to be something that frustrates you this week. There's going to be something that already frustrated you today. There's going to be something that frustrated you in the last month or maybe throughout this holiday season. What I want to encourage you to do is take a breath, listen to my pops, and just say it over and over again. This is nothing more than a symptom, boy. Focus on the root. And what the root is God's love. And when we focus on that, everything else falls in line. I hope you have a phenomenal day. We got the Vibe Room coming up March 11th. It's going to sell out before you know it. So if you don't have your tickets, get your tickets. You can check online. There's a link there. I tell you, it's a phenomenal, phenomenal room. But it has been an absolute pleasure. It's the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. If you don't have the book Inchstones, grab that too. It's the link in the bio. It'll walk you through Proverbs, has a 3-month journal. And I just want to tell all of you, thank you so much. We actually just got Inchstones, the book, approved into the federal penitentiary system. So inmates are going to be able to rehabilitate in the best possible way, basing it in Proverbs with the relationship with the Lord and just reading the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and asking themselves, what verse hit my heart? What did it make me think about? And what action can I add to it today? I hope you have a phenomenal day. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Yeah. And this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launch pad flights. We be begun, surfing waves too low. Made our own rules everywhere we go. Held tight to the truth that our parents declared. Anything is possible, the love stayed there. Now Rob's daughter ballin' on the end scene. Ole scene. Will's kids live dreams we never could have seen. This the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turned small rooms into launch pad flights.